I don't want to. I don't want to be quiet.
I don't want to. I don't want to do.
I want to be quiet. Don't tell me to be quiet, okay?
Do we need to be quiet now?
YouTube, what is going on, huh? YouTube, how we doing? Huh?
Long time no see.
Hey, what's up, YouTube?
What's up?
Hey, so y'all want a countdown then, right?
How's it going, YouTube?
Oh.
Oh, oh, jeez. All right. Going live in 3, 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasizers, the Offseason. Bum, bum, bum. With me, I have my handsome, sometimes absent co-host, Christopher Michael.
What's up? What's going on?
Nice to have you, man. Nice.
Yeah, well, I'm here.
Hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, it's the off season. We have vacations. We have
a lot.
Of
weddings.
Other things going on.
A lot of weddings.
Yeah, we do have a lot of weddings this year.
Yeah,
actually,
it's crazy.
Love is in the air, and so is divorce. As well, I have Brandon Lee. Dude, what's going on?
Oh, another day in the office. It's good to see everyone this time. It's nice. You guys been traveling a lot.
You're there. We have been, and you're not in an office. You're in your bedroom.
No.
Well, he is our sports bettor, so I guess he doesn't really have to leave his room. Anyways, hey, Hollywood, dude, what's going on?
I'm just chilling, man. Just taking her easy. It's crazy. You guys are going to a lot of weddings this season. I haven't got a single invitation to one.
Are you?
Well,
not one.
I think the one that you're referencing, I don't. It's not this summer, so it's okay. It's okay.
It's not even set.
It's not. We also we're waiting on Derek Jeter to be the.
Yeah, I don't even know where to mail letters anymore. He's not with Miami.
Oh, he's moved on, huh?
He's probably on the side of the road picking up trash.
Oh, I don't. Oh, because of the fans, I get it. And last but certainly not least, it looks like he's jamming on a guitar here. Goatee Guru,
Rocking out with my draft out.
Oh, he is ready. He is so in his element right now, and my God, watching him do that just made me shrivel up. Boys, we have the draft tomorrow, right? It's tomorrow.
It's draft eve.
It's draft eve. It's a big day. It's a huge day for our own Mr. Guru goatee of the gurus. But we, as always, need to stick with it and go into opinions and observations. And also, after that, stay tuned for a draft special from Goatee Guru and Brandon Lee. But, boys, let's jump into our opinions and observations. I'm going to leave it open. Round robin. I see Goatee Guru with a hand up. We're going to start with Guru.
Okay, so my first opinion / observation is that when you go opinions and observations, that we need to have some sort of like intro music with that going forward. So that's my first one.
I'm sorry, is it not good enough for you?
No, it just needs a little in the background. Actually, that's why I was jamming on the guitar. I was trying.
Brandon, drop me a beat.
Do up ba dee ba doo doo doo.
I love it.
All right, so no, in reality, opinions and observations. My opinion, super excited about the first round kicking off tomorrow for the NFL draft. Actually, one of my other observations and opinions this year is the NBA playoffs are much more exciting this year. Okay, I have lost some touch with the playoffs because it just hasn't caught my attention recently. But it's fresh. We have no LeBron, which is nice, and you got some young talent in there just showing out. It's fun.
Is this because your team, the Timberwolves, have finally made it to the playoffs?
No, my team actually made it a few years back when Jimmy Butler was there. But
sorry, Guru. I see a hand.
It's me. It's my hand. It's my hand.
Go ahead, Christopher.
I want to run off from that.
Okay.
If you don't mind, Goatee.
No, I mind, but I'm going to let you do it anyway.
I am with you on that. I have actually paid attention a little bit, and I've watched some games. I've stayed up late, and my observation is Victor Oladipo is back, baby. He's back, huh? Did you see him? You see him? Come on.
He had a good game.
Or what?
He had a good game. I'll give it to you. But
He's the man. And
no, so
yeah,
can I finish my observation though?
Yes, go right back.
Okay.
Back. Go ahead.
All right. So before I was very, very well, actually, it wasn't very rudely. It was very politely interrupted. Thank you.
of course.
No, what I wanted to say was obviously I am a Timberwolves fan, so I've been watching that series a little bit more than the rest of them. But every game has been exciting, minus game 3, I think it was, when Memphis torched us. But no, it's been really exciting, coming down right to the wire. Fast paced, like there's no half court sets in that game at all. They just play transition ball the entire game. Refs are letting them play, not calling fouls every time down the court, which is lovely. And people are just making dagger threes. Ja Morant is absurd going to the rim. Some of the finishes he's had during this series are insane. Anthony Edwards showing that spotlight's not too big for him, and it's been a lot of fun. Memphis can shoot. Minnesota seems to be the more I don't want to say talented, but they seem to be the more complete team in the sense that they have jumped out to a lead in every game. Every game they've jumped out to a good lead, and Memphis just comes storming back because they're a team that gets hot, and when they get hot, good luck stopping them. But it's a lot of fun.
I've been trying to tell you guys this forever. The NBA is great. But Hollywood, I see a very nice, quiet hand. It's so calmly raised. Go ahead.
So, is it? I don't watch NBA. I don't like the NBA. But is the game different now than in the 90s? I mean, obviously I know it is, but is it just me, or it seems like so many of the stars and the big names are injured all the frickin' time?
They get rested. That's the problem.
Well, no, they don't. Like, I've seen like so many people like, oh, they're questionable for this game, or you know, they might have to sit because they tweak their pinky toe.
Yeah, so
that's their non-shooting foot.
That's what I would say is that they, with the training, like the trainers and everything like that, and the coaching staff, and even the organizations now are more scared. They're more, and they're a little bit more scared to risk a big injury. So the questionable tags and all that, or sitting because of sore back. The
mindset's changed.
Yes, the mindset is totally changed.
Back in the 90s, if you sat, you were a P word.
Yeah, I agreed. And people played through injuries, but that's why you also saw, I mean, some shorter careers out of great players. But I kind of agree. Like, I'm glad that they got rid of the load management sitting that Kawhi Leonard and LeBron did all a couple years back. They got rid of that, which is a good thing. But now it's, they're sitting because, they're broken fingernail, and it's basically the same thing as load management.
It's the same thing. It's just their way of hiding it.
Right. So yeah, that's one thing that I would like to eliminate, is, being able to sit them for something so weak and little like that. But I don't think you can. But yeah, no, the game, these playoffs actually is kind of taking it back to old school. There's some hard fouls. There's some chippiness going on, which is fun, right? I think it's fun to watch basketball players kind of go at each other a little bit. And get a little chippy.
Can I make one more observation real quick? If you haven't watched any of those games between the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, you got to tune in just to watch Karl Anthony Towns and Ja Morant's fathers go at it. It is funny. It is so funny. They sit right beside each other and they argue the entire game long. They're really good friends, but they just argue the whole time. It's funny.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the thing on Instagram on that. Anybody else? Anybody else with an opinion and or observation? Brandon Lee, you've been sitting so patient. Good for you. Here you go.
Yeah, my mom raised me right.
Nice.
I have two actually. The first one's real quick. Josh, love the glasses.
Thanks, dude. Thank you. They're a new look. Actually, I'm going to a rave this weekend, so I might even skip out and put on the top that I'm gonna wear too. It's a nice little button down. It's so cool. It's vibey.
I just figured you were getting ready for Coachella.
I wish. Well, no, is that now? Is that coming up?
I just thought you were trying to be John Lennon. Or
Actually,
John or somebody.
no, it's John Lennon.
No, it could be either one.
No, it's John Lennon.
No, it could be either one.
No, it actually says
Well, they're not red.
it actually says John Lennon. So go.
Yeah, anyway, so my second one. Have you guys paid attention to the NIL deals that's been going around now that college athletes can actually get paid and sign contracts with companies and everything? It's really kind of cool. I know it's controversial, but some of these guys, and women actually have been making a lot of money. Actually, the highest paid one that I've found is gymnasts, which is surprising because usually they don't get paid anything. But I mean, like Miami quarterback De'Aaron King, like hitting a deal with college hunks for $20,000. Yeah, I'd take that in college, Arkansas, Trey Knox, like getting with PetSmart. Kellen Grady, the Kentucky basketball player there, signing with iSlides, so he's getting free slides and everything.
Has anybody signed with Sean Clifford's? Sean Clifford, the Penn State quarterback, he just started a NIL business.
No, why would they sign him?
agency.
No.
No. He would be signing them. He started an NIL agency. He's still in college.
There's a few that I've seen.
Oh, so he's the LeVar Ball of okay.
But the biggest one that I saw worth $1 million, LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn. Now I don't know if you guys follow gymnastics, but she's amazing anyway. But worth $1 million with Viore. Pretty awesome, right? College. She wasn't an Olympian either. I mean, she will be at some point.
I was gonna say she probably
does she look good?
I heard it was between Biore and Summer's Eve.
It could have been, yeah.
Okay,
but yeah,
sure.
You didn't answer my question. Does she look good? Is that why?
Well, probably. She's probably a really good-looking woman, but let's not take that away from the amazing gymnast that she is.
We
love women here. We support and celebrate women here in women's sports.
Kudos to Biore, right? Like that's pretty cool to go out and do that. And I think you got to give it up to the girl, the Olympics, for I think putting gymnastics and all that really on a pedestal with the mental health. I mean, I know there was controversy in that with her sitting, but I think that vaulted the sport into a new category.
So can I just say, I just looked up Olivia Dunn. She might be a good gymnast. She's a huge TikTok personality. That's probably why she got.
Oh, that's sweet too. Hey, but even what? I mean, make your money, right? I mean,
that's right.
TikTok's the way to do it, nowadays.
I still think it's really cool that it's just bringing a positive light to gymnastics instead of everything that's been negative in the past, with everything that's going on. So
and to women's sports, right? I mean, seriously.
Right.
Let's listen. I'm gonna move away from this just because I have an opinion. I would say. I don't think that there's anything better than sports betting at the beginning of the MLB season because
False.
What?
False.
No. Let me tell you why. Because, especially this year, because if you take the Yankees winning a money line and parlay it with Boston losing, oh my God, you're making so much money. Boston sucks. Oh my, they are so bad. I'll tell you what, they are one game away from being tied with the Orioles. They're one game away from being tied with the Orioles. They are terrible, which is just great, right? Oh, Trevor Story, everybody was heartbroken. The Yankees didn't get him. He guy sucks, right? He's terrible. So see you later, right? I'll stick with our team. Thanks so much. And go fuck yourself, massholes. You know what I mean?
If you will. Anyway.
So that's my opinion.
No,
you
so
know?
I like where you went with that. I would still say probably March Madness basketball is the best betting.
Oh yeah, no, I was totally, just for the story and to really shit on Boston, but
No, I definitely love where you went.
Go Yanks, go King Rizzo, huh? Yeah, Big Tony, you know what I mean? And King of the Short Porch, 3 home runs last night. That's
Big
Tony.
So I've got 2 observations real quick, and I was gonna do them in a different order, but since we're on the topic, I'll bust this one out first, and then I've got a second one that's not as controversial. But my first one: can we cancel the Yankees yet? Like, can we go ahead and just kick them the fuck out? Because they're everything that's wrong with Major League Baseball.
Okay,
and
let's move on.
Yep.
The salary cap issue.
Can I hit actually?
The fans are trash.
I did,
and then they get caught cheating.
No, we
they
just
get caught
throw
cheating in
trash.
the same year as the Astros, and nothing happens. It's like, it's the Yankees. It's fine.
Nothing happened to the Astros either.
I do have an observation actually. If one team that needs to completely relocate to a new stadium, new city, everything, the Seattle Mariners, and anything else in Seattle, I would say.
Yeah,
Supersonic.
Marshawn Lynch is
nobody
wants
Supersonics left. I mean, everybody should just leave that place.
But we got the Kraken now. That's
Marshawn Lynch is a part owner,
right?
I got the Kraken. Oh God, I'm sorry, Hollywood. Do you have another one that maybe?
Yeah. So my second one is it's going to be a kind of weird, but follow me here on this one. So I hate the way that golf does the world golf rankings. It is the worst. And if you don't know how they do it, so basically it's like a running point system for 2 years. So your points stay there for 2 years. So if you don't play for an entire year, you still stay on that list depending on the points you've built up. And the reason I bring that up is because back in like 08 time frame, my boy Phil Mickelson was so close to being world number 1. He was within a point of Tiger Woods, but because Tiger Woods was so dominant before that, he had all those back issues. He only played in like 7 events one year, but he remained world number 1 until Lee frickin' Westwood took over world number 1. But I'll say that I like what's happening now in golf, where you have these guys like Scotty Scheffler coming out and taking over world number 1. John Rahm, world number 1. I feel like that's a good reflection of golf. It's jumping around. One person's not holding on to it. It just speaks to Tiger's dominance. I mean, I was looking it up and I was doing the research. Ridiculous. Tiger Woods has more wins, tournament wins, than he has missed cuts in his career.
Holy cow.
And that is why he's the GOAT.
It's ridiculous, but I just can't believe that it's a golf world where Phil Mickelson was never world number 1, but we have guys like Scotty Scheffler who, yeah, he's really good right now, but he's just one of these guys who's having a hot streak right now, or Lee Westwood,
Right.
So
agreed. I mean that just goes to show. I mean, Phil could never, he can't do it, can't handle it,
calm down.
I'm just kidding. I
Hot in
love
the kitchen,
He can't handle it. He get out of there. You know what I mean? Jeez. Goodness. He should just go to the Champions Tour and clean up there. My Lord.
He does. He does.
Or
He's
Saudi
just starting
Arabia,
his
wherever.
he's just gonna start his own tour. Yeah.
Or Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I should just do that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that will do it for our opinions and observations. And
Hollywood, are you texting me right now?
I just what?
I don't think so.
I just got a breaking news update. Josh, do you want to read the breaking news update?
Yeah, sure. Let's do
Oh,
it. Sure. Did you send it to me?
Yeah.
My phone's dead.
Did you?
Oh, fair enough.
It's dead.
Did you send it to me?
Josh,
You didn't send me anything.
it's coming to you. It's subject
It's stuck in the
Showdown
mail.
Corner number 4.
Showdown Corner number 4. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It hasn't come through yet. Oh God. Came through. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Showdown Corner drawing. No, Brandon, give me that.
Drop a beat.
We have
that is a very
Showdown
Steinfeld
Corner.
influence right there.
I want the
All
Andy.
right.
I want the Andy Bernard.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right, Hollywood. We have Showdown Corner drawing. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, we want to do that now, or we want to save it for after the break.
No, let's do it now. Let's just do it,
Let's
man.
get it. Let's get it. All right. So, right before we started this recording, we went through and we have a total of 7 topics to choose from. So here we go, real quick. Number 1, under 500 NFL teams. The next one that's going to be really good and break through next year. Number 2, guys' weekend essentials. I'm rooting for that one so hard. I really want to do that one. I want to be a part of that one. Number 3, best franchises. Number 4, fixing the MLB. Number 5, the best 5 U.S. states. Number 6, the top 5 sports movies of all time. And number 7, the top 5 arcade games. Let's go Ducks. What are we doing
The
here?
anticipation is killing me. Brandon Lee, are you ready?
We'll find out.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Great.
No, that was a picture of boobs that I actually just put in there. That's just fun.
Oh. Oh.
Number 3, best franchises.
Best franchises.
Franchise.
So what do you guys want? What are you thinking? Top 5, top 10?
I want 5. Top 5.
Nope. I would be open to 10, being that it's not just sports franchises, right? It can be any kind of franchise.
Oh.
Hey, you son of a stop
Damn
stealing
it.
thunder.
Oh, damn
Right after thunder.
Top
Stupid.
top 10. Top 10.
Top 10, and if we're going franchises like that, it doesn't have to be sports franchises. I like it.
Know your audience.
Oh boy. All right. I like that. Top 10 franchises.
Yeah.
And we have
The
Hollywood.
Red Vines Company. Let's go.
The Red Vines. Go and fuck it. We have Hollywood versus Brandon Lee. Hollywood is going for a clean sweep here.
I finished.
And Brandon Lee, you have 2
Well,
minutes. No.
You have time. You got to win.
Oh, well,
Oh man! All right, well that'll do it. A great surprise showdown drawing there, but we need to catch a break. My producer is just screaming in my ear, and so we need to go to a break. We need to do it. Okay, we will come back with a NFL draft special with our very own goatee guru and Brandon Lee. Stay tuned.
Okay, so you're announcing them. They're coming on. Right?
I didn't think I was going to announce them. I figured that they would just
Oh, just
we do
start.
it and then
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
boom, good to go. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Yeah, Jordan, how are we doing this? Are you just reading it and I'm like following along with your pick, giving you mine?
So you're muted.
Nope. So what we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna start with kind of some of our favorite prospects that we have in the draft, some of the ones that we don't really like, and I'm talking about only guys that are potential first round picks. Okay, for those. Then we'll talk about some of our bold predictions and our locks that we have, and then we'll get to the mock drafts. When you go through your mock draft, I'll have you go through your mock first, and you can, and like I said, you can. We didn't do any trades, but you can talk about where you could see a team possibly moving out, another team possibly moving up. But for the sake of the mock draft itself, there are no trades. And then afterwards, we can kind of just talk about some of the rumblings that are going on and, some team fits that we like, anything like that.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll catch you after.
Chris says, I'm going to bed, so see ya.
No.
Oh, he's going to masturbate.
Hey, what's Black and Hangs?
Nope.
No.
What's White and Hangs up?
Oh, and he's gone.
Oh Jesus, he did it. He did it.
He did it. All right, guys. I have to go help move furniture around because we are remodeling apparently. So I might be back. I'm not sure.
Best part is see this, see all that communication we just had and everything. Yeah, we're recording on YouTube still.
I know. We're good to go.
That's all good.
All right.
Just
You
make
too.
sure you talk about that running back out of Syracuse, the Express. I can't remember his name.
Stud.
Yeah.
All right. Make me proud with what the Giants select, okay? Come on.
All right, I'll take a guy that's got a 5th round grade and a guy that's got a 7th round grade.
Don't like that. Okay. We'll talk to you later.
Maybe. Still watching YouTube? Still checking in? Yeah. It's about to get real. It's about to get fantasizing. Fantasizerish. Fantasy like. We're about to fantasize and make some mock drafts and do some things, okay? So stick around. Hang with us here while we take our quick little break, and we're going to be back momentarily. Oh, look, Brandon Lee comes back in looking confused. And
I was wondering who you were talking to. I had to wrestle a snake in the bathroom.
I was talking to all the people on that camera right there.
We're being watched?
We're being watched by
Oh, God.
by all of YouTube, by
Hey.
all of them.
Hi.
All right. We ready to do this thing?
Yeah, sorry, that got a little weird. Anyway.
Cool. All right. Go. He's ready with the click. Here we go. In 3, 2, wait a minute.
Oh, that's not how you count.
In 3, 2. What is up? We are back here on the Fantasizers podcast, and it is time for our draft special, the Draft Eve edition. This is the big one. This is the big one you've all been waiting for. I've been waiting for. Brandon Lee's been waiting for. After 2 months of football-less life, we are going to get a little bit of something to scratch the itch for 3 days, and it's going to be great. So, Brandon Lee, are you ready to do this thing?
I am itchy. I'm ready to scratch.
You're so ready to scratch. We're going to pinch and roll. We're going to do it all. Okay. So you're going to want to, you're going to want to stick around. Absolutely. So it's draft special. Your goatee guru, Brandon Lee.
That's
We're going
me.
to run you down. We're going to run you down through some of our opinions on the NFL draft. We're going to each provide you with our own mock draft, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun here. So Brandon Lee, we're gonna start off. We're just gonna talk. We're just gonna kind of communicate. We're gonna speak to each other about some
We're
players.
Yeah,
we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about some players that we like in this draft, and we're gonna keep it small. So let's just talk about guys that are potential first round picks. Who are a couple that you're real high on?
Oh, Sauce Gardner, dude, favorite player in this draft. Absolutely love him. I mean, you're gonna hear me talk more about him as it goes, but the dude to me is the best defensive back in this draft. I mean, covers well. He's quick. He's got good hands. Love this guy.
He's long. He's long. 6'3".
And you know me as a Seahawks fan, back with Legion of Boom. We like those long, lanky corners. So I am in love with Sauce.
Yeah, and
Gardner.
I think Sauce is a guy that he's best. He can play off. Absolutely can play off the line of scrimmage, but I think he's best when he gets up and he's physical with the off the line. Didn't allow a single touchdown in college. That's absurd. That's an incredible stat. And I agree. There's two elite level corners in this draft. I think he probably takes the top spot. But yeah, I agree. He's one I like too. One that I really like in this draft, like I mentioned in the past, is Nakobe Dean. I really like Nakobe Dean. I've heard the possibility that he may slip out of the first round, and I assume that's just because of his size. Because there's no doubt this kid can play. He flies all over the field, makes tackles. He plays bigger than he is. He can stick his nose in the run game. Very good in coverage, sideline to sideline. He's fast. He's gonna be a baller for whoever he goes to. I really like Nakobe Dean, and I think he's worthy of a first round pick. I think he's worthy of a mid first round pick, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he's my second favorite player in this draft. I'm giving you my three. I don't want to say my three favorites because my third favorite in this draft is one that I'm not really kind of going to talk about too much because everybody's talking about him. So yeah, but Nakobe Dean, love him. Little undersized, but he makes the plays. I would welcome him to Seattle with open arms. Come on in, man.
All right, so if he was your second, and you don't want to discuss the third at the moment, I will give you my second. My second favorite player, as far as just what I think he's going to bring to the field in this draft, is Treylon Burks from Arkansas. I really, really like Treylon Burks. Reminds me a lot. I'm a 49er fan. Reminds me a lot of Deebo Samuel. He's a weapon. He's just a weapon. He can do everything you need to do in the passing game as a receiver. He can do everything you need him to do out of the backfield. You can run jet motions with him. You can line him up in the backfield, hand it to him. You can toss. You can do anything you want. Jet sweeps, quick screens, anything. This guy, you get the ball in his hands, and he's a playmaker. So I really like what Treylon Burks can do, and I think if he goes to the right scheme, he's going to be a monster.
Yeah, so number 3 for me, I do like Treylon Burks a lot, but number 3 for me is Sky Moore. Dude is just an elite level when it comes to his shiftiness. I mean, that dude can just fake out anyone. I mean, you can put anybody on him. I think he's going to win that battle. He's not super big, but he's quick. He gets off the line real well. You can press him. You can play off of him. Doesn't matter. He's beating you.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me a little bit of almost like a Jalen Waddle. So he's probably a little bit more shifty than Waddle, but it's just the short area quickness. I don't want to say Tyreek Hill because I know Tyreek Hill is extremely shifty, but I don't think he's quite to that level. So that's why I'm saying Jalen Waddle. But I agree, he's definitely in contention to be a first round pick. There's a couple teams picking at the end of the first round that definitely would be a good fit for him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on draft day. I could see him going anywhere from the late first round to like the middle of the second. I think that's his range is probably about from 24 out to probably like 42 range, I would say.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I not giving out where he's going, but I have him in the first round. You guys will hear about that here in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him fall into the second. As a Seahawks fan with an early second round pick, I'd be okay with it. I don't think they're going to go with him, but it'd be something I'd be excited if they did.
Yeah, I think those are some good picks. If I have to pick a third one, I actually only prepared two, so this is going off the top of my head. But a third one that I like would probably be Quay Walker from Georgia. I know I picked a Georgia linebacker earlier with Nakobe Dean, but I like what Quay Walker can do in pass coverage, and I think if he plays in a 3-4 and you put him off the edge, he's just he's nonstop. Like the guy has a nonstop motor. Not exactly a polished pass rusher per se. Doesn't seem to like have. Most pass rushers when they go in, they have an idea of what their first move is going to be and what their counter move is going to be. Quay Walker, I feel like, just sees red and goes in there. Like he's the bull chasing the flag. You know what I mean? But he's nonstop, no quit in the kid, and I think he can be coached up and he can be a really good player. And like I said, talking about potential first rounders, I do have him in my first round as well. So we'll get to that later. But Brandon Lee, who do you got that maybe you're not so high on in the first round?
That one's kind of tough, but there's one guy that I actually had fall quite a bit. You know what? I'm going to leave that one because I think that'll be a shock as it goes. So okay. I'm going to skip that one. There's a guy that's in here that probably is going to be a pretty good player. I am just hesitant based on injury, so I'm not real high on him, and that's Drake London. So I think he's going to be a good player. I don't think he's going to be what he would have been if he didn't have that ankle injury.
That's fair. It's a little nerve-wracking that he didn't run a 40, being that he's a big guy. You kind of want to see how fast that guy can run. I'm sure he's not a blazer. I think we both know he's not a blazer, but if he could run a mid 4.5, I'd be happy with that at his size. And we know he can play. It's funny because this was my comp for him before, but I actually saw earlier today that somebody else comped the same guy, which was validating for me, I guess. But he reminds me a little bit of Larry Fitzgerald later in his career. So not early freak athlete Larry Fitzgerald, but Larry Fitzgerald when he kicked in and started playing in the slot more. That's kind of what I see with Drake London. I think London can play on the outside. I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying he reminds me of the player Fitzgerald was when he came into the slot.
That's a really good comparison, actually. I didn't even I never thought about that. But I mean, yeah, and I guess in a way that's kind of where I have him going is kind of what I was hoping they would use him as. So I mean that makes me feel a lot better about the pick that I have him going with. So
I'm glad I could validate you now too, because no, I saw that earlier and I was like, oh, I've kind of been, thinking that the entire time. That's kind of who I envisioned, Drake London to be, and to hear them say it was pretty cool. But anyway, so I really only have one player that I'm not very high on. In the first, that's a potential first round pick, and it's not to say that he's not talented. And I know you're probably going to have an opinion on this, but it's Kaiir Elam from Florida. When I watch Kaiir Elam, he's a good player, and he's got flashes where he shows he's an excellent corner. But then he's got other times where he just looks out of position and lost a little bit out there. And I think he's worthy of being an early day 2 pick, being in the second round. But I think that he probably goes in the first just because it's not a real high a top heavy corner class. So somebody's going to probably reach on him. But I don't know. From what I've seen of him, I don't love his game, if that makes sense. I like his game. I don't love it.
So, I mean, being a Gators fan and watching him, yeah, he does have those moments of, dude, do you even know where you are right now on the field? But I think he's a very coachable kid. And he's got a lot of upside that I think he's going to transition in the NFL, and he's going to be fine. First year might be a little bumpy for him, but I think he's going to settle in and be a pretty good corner. Probably not an elite guy, but he's going to be a solid, maybe number 2.
One thing that may kind of be subconscious to my thought on him is his last name, Elam, and the school he came from. Because I believe Matt Elam, right, was from Florida, and he was a bust in the NFL. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But when I watch him, I don't see a first round talent. I see a guy that was probably better suited to go like middle of day 2, maybe even late day 2. He's good, and he'll be an NFL player. I just don't think he'll ever be like a Pro Bowl caliber player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's fair, but I know Florida's pretty consistent putting out corners, so I'm willing to give him a chance. And then just watching him each week, I mean, I see so many flashes and just so much potential in him that it'd be tough not to maybe take a chance,
Fair enough. All right, so those are a couple of guys that we like and don't like that are potential first rounders. There's varied opinions across the experts and obviously with ourselves too. So we'll see tomorrow what NFL teams think. If they're feeling confident in these guys, they're going to draft them. So, and they have more information than we do, right? So we'll see. But that's going to lead us to a next part of our draft special here. Brandon, we're going to talk about some bold predictions. I want 3 bold predictions from you, and I want 3 locks that you think are guaranteed it's going to happen. What you got for me?
You want 3 bold predictions?
3 bold predictions. If you don't have 3, that's fine. But
I can come
to 3. How about up to 3?
1, there's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round.
Okay.
I almost want to say that's a lock, but I'm not. There's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken. I'm not going to name who they are because one of them I'm pretty sure you don't think is going to be in the first round.
That's okay, but they don't give away anything for your mock. So
correct. I think in the top 10, there's going to be at least 3 trades. Probably more. I see in just the top 10, I see 4 that I know I have for a potential trade. But I mean, realistically, I could see a lot more.
I would consider that a definite bold prediction because I actually think we're going to see less, just because there's not any super highly talented quarterbacks in this draft, and that's usually what teams are moving up for. But I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe 2. That's my guess, but that's why it's a bold prediction, right?
Yeah, and so that'll be it for my bold predictions. But my guaranteed absolute lock, Seattle will trade at least 2 first-round picks.
So you're saying they're going to trade back and then trade back again?
They're either
Or
going to trade back
trade up,
or they're going to trade up and trade back.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. They're moving twice in the first round.
Okay. Is that your only lock, or did you have more?
No, my other lock is Malik Willis is the first quarterback taken.
Okay. All right. So, no, I mean, I can definitely see Seattle. John Schneider loves to trade. that guy can't sit still. I think he's got ants in his pants or something, and he's just got to.
Neither can Pete Carroll. I mean, I was listening to his last press conference that he had, and he's like, "Yeah, we're excited." He goes, "Not just about the players, potential to move. I mean, there's a lot of guys that want to move up, so we might be able to move back, grab something more." Shut the hell up.
Yeah, that's him. You know what I mean? So, all right. So I have 3 bold predictions. I have 3 locks. I'm gonna start with my bold predictions. My bold predictions are. There are 0 quarterbacks that go in the top 10 tomorrow. That is my prediction. We'll see, and probably won't happen, but that's why it's a bold prediction.
That's bold and capital letters.
Yeah. Number 2 would be at least 7 wide receivers go tomorrow in round 1, which is a big number for most years. Wide receivers, you don't usually see that many come off the board. I think at least 7 tomorrow.
Holy cow.
And my last bold prediction is that the injured Jameson Williams goes in the top 15 picks. Because if Jameson Williams was not injured, he would be a top 10 pick guaranteed.
Oh, guaranteed. Probably top 5, actually.
Yep. So those are my 3 bold predictions. My locks. Jordan Davis does not fall past pick 14, which currently belongs to the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2 is Kyle Hamilton does not go in the top 10 picks. And my last lock is that Derek Stingley Jr. does go in the top 10 picks.
Very nice.
So that's what I got. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I feel pretty confident with my locks, obviously. That's why I put them as locks. But the bold predictions.
Just notice I haven't argued.
Gut feeling. You're right. So it makes me wonder what's going to happen later on.
When a little bit different than the mock drafts you've seen me do in the last couple of weeks here.
Yep, and I think you're going to see the same for mine. So like we talked about, we did the alternating, and we kind of had to play off of each other, whereas now we can kind of arrange it the way that we see it happening, right? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Brandon Lee, you're on the clock with Jacksonville Jaguars, number 1 pick in the mock draft. We're going to see what you got. I'm excited to hear it. Stick around. Stay tuned.
Ooh, baby, I feel like I'm warming up for a fight, and you know what I mean? Ooh, yeah, here we go. And I'm tired.
And I'm
I have to close tomorrow, which kind of sucks. So because the draft starts at 8, yeah.
yeah, yes, yep.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna miss like the first 2 picks before I get home.
That's usually what happens to me because usually my bowling league banquet is on those nights, but it's not this year. So I got asked to sub at bowling tomorrow by some person I don't even know, right?
Yep.
And I was like, not a chance. Not a chance.
Not happening.
No. So, all right.
Am I doing my whole mock draft?
Yeah, man. Are you
Okay.
prepared?
Oh, I'm ready. I've been prepared since like 11 this morning. Oh, that's not true. I was prepared like
So I actually prepared my mock back on Monday, and I tweaked it this morning. Well,
yeah.
earlier in
Well-
the early afternoon when I was at work.
Like I sent you earlier. I was like, you're like, you do your mock draft? I'm like, I've done 3 this week. But I did the one that I'm sticking with tonight.
All right, man. You ready to do this thing? I'll
I'm ready.
intro you back in.
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2. All right, and we're back with the NFL Draft Special here on TFP Nation, the Fantasizers podcast. Glad to have you, YouTube. Glad to have you, Spotify, Anchor. And we're going to get right to it. Brandon Lee has his official 2022 NFL mock draft handwritten on one of Hollywood's napkins that he stole from the corner. And we're going to see what he's got here. Brandon Lee, who's going number 1 to Jacksonville?
Number 1 to Jacksonville. I know there's been a lot of talk, and this is smokescreen time of year. So I chose not to believe a lot of that, and I think they're going to go with their initial gut reaction, and they're going to take the edge rusher, Aiden Hutchinson. That brings us down to, Detroit Lions. And they're going to be thrilled. I mean, Detroit's really in the position now where they're taking whatever edge rusher Jacksonville does not. And in this case, they're taking the next edge rusher on the table, and that's going to be Trayvon Walker. So it brings us to number 3, Houston Texans. First potential trade of the draft is I see Houston flipping first-round picks with Atlanta, and Atlanta probably throwing in, a second, maybe even the next year's first. I'm not sure. I didn't really go into what they're going to throw since we're not adding trades, but this is a potential one I could see Atlanta moving up the board, trying to get ahead of Carolina. They want to take their quarterback. That's where I could see there. But because this is a no trade,
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, right. Because this is not we're not doing trades in this one. Houston's going to stay put, and they're going to go with Ike Ekwonu. It's different, right? Because I've been pretty consistent with that pick all.
I think you went in the defensive backfield, right? Most of the time.
I did. So we're changing it up a little bit, but I like it. I mean, I think they're going to be thrilled with it. So it brings us to 4, New York Jets. The Jets, I mean, in every mock draft I've had, I've put the same guy, right? They're taking the top corner, and they're going to go with Sauce Gardner.
It seems like a dreamy fit with
It
Robert
does.
Saleh.
It really does. So number 5, New York Giants on the clock. This is another potential trade opportunity. Again, Atlanta trying to move up ahead of Carolina. So I could see them flipping. Might be a little bit easier to get the Giants pick over the Texans. They may not have to give up as much. And the Giants can move back, have back-to-back picks, and might be able to get the same guy that they're looking at this pick right now, a little bit back and pick them up at 7 instead of 8. So that's a potential one I can see if Houston doesn't accept that trade early on. So at 5, the Giants are going to take Evan Neal.
Okay.
Which brings us to Carolina. The reason Atlanta wants to get ahead of Carolina is they want to take that quarterback, right? I don't see them. If Carolina takes this quarterback, I don't see Atlanta actually drafting a quarterback. I think this is the one that they want if they're going to take one at all. And Carolina selects Malik Willis.
First quarterback off the board at number 6 to Carolina.
Number 7. Again, potential trade opportunity. This time, again for a quarterback. Now sitting a little bit lower on the order, they're kind of getting nervous. Uh-oh. In the top 6, there was a quarterback taken. I don't know. Atlanta's kind of quarterback needy. So maybe we move up ahead of them. New Orleans trying to get up, take that 7 spot, head of the Atlanta Falcons looking for their quarterback. That's a potential trade that I see. As you said earlier, they move up a lot for quarterbacks, and there's a couple of quarterback needy teams. We'll just find out how desperate they are. And with New Orleans, they might want to move up and give a little bit of competition to Winston to just see what they can pull from him. So, but no trades in this one. So I say number 7, New York Giants, taking top edge rusher at that point, Kayvon Thibodeau. Now it brings us to 8.
Atlanta.
And they were sitting there, they've been ringing the phones. They've been trying to move up. Nothing's happening, right? There's been no trades thus far. Board's falling this way. They couldn't get their quarterback. They're not going to settle. So they're going to go an alternative route, fill another need that they need. And they're going to take cornerback Derek Stingley.
Oh, okay. Not the way I thought you were going to go, but I definitely could see them doing that. But bookend AJ Terrell and Derek Stingley, and your corners are set.
That's right. Yeah, see, there's a couple of surprises in this one here, Goatee. All right, so that brings us to probably the greatest team to ever step on a football field. At number 9,
the 49ers don't have a first-round pick.
No. At number 9, the Seattle Seahawks. This is a potential trade, and if I'm being honest, probably an actual realistic trade. Maybe not with this team, but this pick is probably being traded. So my trade potential is with Washington. With Washington and their needs, and the team that's directly ahead of them, the Jets, kind of having that same need that they have. Maybe Washington wants to get ahead of them, make sure that they can get them. Maybe. Now, the way I have my board falling, they don't need to. But this is all a mind game, right? You got smoke screens going on, right? Washington might fall for it, might have to spend what they have to move up. But no trades. Seattle takes Jermaine Johnson at number 9. So moving to 10.
They don't need to do that. They don't need any edge rushers.
I would be very happy with an edge rusher. I don't think they go offensive line. They haven't ever really gone offensive line.
Not under that regime.
No, and with offensive line being kind of, fairly deep in this draft, they might wait to see if they can get something in the second round. So I think they're going to try to get, one of the top edge rushers if they can. So that brings us to 10, New York Jets. And Washington is kind of sitting on pins and needles, right? They're nervous. They don't have to be nervous. Because the New York Jets at number 10 are taking wide receiver Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. That's your first receiver off the board, correct?
First receiver off the board. So, number 11, potential trade. Washington, they can breathe. Right? They can breathe. Their guy didn't get taken. And looking at who's behind them, they're not worried. They're willing to move back to 14 if Baltimore wants to come on up. Baltimore's a little concerned because Minnesota follows Washington. They might go after the guys they want. But I digress. So, Washington, at 11 selects linebacker Devin Lloyd. Minnesota is going to take that player that Baltimore really wanted, but they couldn't make that trade happen, so sucks to be Baltimore. Minnesota drafts cornerback Trent McDuffie.
Ooh.
I look at his name, man. He just looks like a Viking to me. I don't know. Everything I see about it, I could just see the purple behind him.
I think you did that in the alternating mock
I
draft.
sure as hell did.
You did, yeah.
Houston brings us back up. And Houston, so consistently, I've been taking this guy, but I've been taking him at 3. This time he falls out of the top 10. Houston is pumped, right? They are pumped. They got a stud beast of an offensive lineman. They now get a guy that they
Golden Domer.
Kyle Hamilton.
The Golden Domer from Notre Dame.
Yes, sir. So it brings Baltimore up. And Baltimore, a little disappointed that they couldn't bring in Trent McDuffie. But they're not going to dwell on it because they're bringing in some big beast of a boy to fill that middle of the line. Big old man stopping that run, blowing it up. Devontae Wyatt heading to Baltimore.
Oh, not where I thought you were going, but I like it.
Couple of surprises, baby. So that brings us to 15, where I can again see a potential trade. Another quarterback needy team moving up with 16 sitting there. With New Orleans sitting at 16, the pick just after. You know they're quarterback heavy. They attempted to move up earlier in the draft, right? So who's going to jump up in front of New Orleans to try to take a quarterback? Why not Pittsburgh? They could use one. Is Mitch Trubisky the answer? I don't believe so. So I could see that one at 15 trying to move up. I mean, they might even try to move up earlier if they can, but 15 is like, uh-oh, do or die. But they didn't. Philly said, screw you. So why traded, why go from the east to the west? We don't like that. Anyway, Philly sitting at 15. They see Devin Lloyd off the board. They're like, oh no. We were hoping he'd fall, but he didn't. So they're gonna settle. And I say settle. But this man is my second favorite player in the draft, and he is heading to Philadelphia, Nakobe Dean. So now, New Orleans, they breathe a little bit. Woo! Didn't have to move up. It's all right. He still came to us. So they're going to sit there, and they're going to bring in a little bit of competition for Jameis Winston. Taking the most NFL-ready quarterback, Kenny Pickett. 17, Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I will say, New Orleans gambling with that pick, by the way. They're gambling because they got 2 picks. They have 2 guys on their mind right now. One that they can gamble like that. So they take Pickett, but the other guy they're gambling because the teams behind them also have a need at this position and could go that route. Now, we'll see if it happens that way. So the Chargers are on the clock, and they're sitting there, and they're looking at that same player that the Saints were looking, and now the Saints are, again, a little stressed. Not overly stressed, but a little bit. And the Chargers look at him, and they fill out the card. But it's not for that player. They fill out the card for an additional wide receiver to give Justin Herbert some more weapons. And they draft Jamison Williams at 17.
Boy can run.
Boy can run. So it brings up 18, Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is looking, same guy that New Orleans was looking at, same guy that the Chargers were looking at. And they also go away from him because they start thinking, how much longer does Jason Kelce have? Is he done at the end of this year? Is he done at the end of next year? He's getting up there. So they're going to grab a guy who they can play on that line, but also slide right into center with no problems. They're taking Tyler Linderbaum. Brings the Saints back on the clock. Again, they can breathe. They are just stress rising. I mean, that office is smelling like crap because of all the nervous farts. And I'll tell you, they can all breathe. They have a big exhale, and it's just the coffee breath and the nervous farts mixing together. But you know what? They fight through it. They fill out that card, and this man can stop sliding down the board. They take him at 19, Charles Cross. So now Pittsburgh's up. They didn't get their quarterback. They didn't get the man that played in their stadium. They're disappointed. But they're not going to dwell on it, right? They didn't get the quarterback. They didn't get him. That's fine. We're okay. We got Trubisky for a year, but you know what? We better protect him. So they're going to draft this man who, again, just looks like he should be wearing Pittsburgh colors. Trevor Penning.
Big boy.
Brings us to New England at 21. And Belichick, you don't see him smile very often. But he's smiling right now, and he ran to the phone. Now, it was weird because he's not real athletic anymore, so it was kind of like a, Oompa Loompa stumble. Yeah, it's kind of like he was an Oompa Loompa just kind of But anyway, he got there, didn't pull a hammy, so he's feeling all right, and he makes that phone call. And he lets him know, hey, buddy, we're taking you. And this is probably the biggest Bill Belichick guy he could get. George Karlaftis going to New England.
I could see it.
At 22, Rodgers and Green Bay, that's been an up and down thing. Roller coaster of a ride. Drama, if you will. Just so much pouring out of Green Bay, Do they make him happy? Do they just piss him off and let him walk? I think they're going to try to make him happy. Again, was Bakhtiari there for a while? How much longer does he have in the tank? Long enough. They're going to keep him there. So they're going to go elsewhere, and they're going to go on the wide receiver route and give him somebody to help replace the boatload of receivers that they lost. So Green Bay is going to draft Chris Olave.
It's a polished route runner for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers can put it on a dime for him.
Absolutely. He can always use somebody he just knows for sure is going to get open. So lost his safety valve. Why not grab another one?
Yep.
23 brings up those just disgusting birds that you just can't ever get away. They're actually really pretty. But
not when they're in Arizona.
They just stick out like sore thumbs, don't they? I tell you. So Arizona on the clock. And Arizona, he's got a couple of different places they could fill right now. Do they protect Kyler Murray? Do they play the defensive side of the ball? And do they try to get that interior line built up? Could be. But no. Surprising pick from the Arizona Cardinals with a man who is not happy and a team who doesn't seem to believe in him. They are not going with a need. They are going with someone who can potentially replace, and they draft quarterback Sam Howell.
Wow. Okay.
Big surprise, right? Big surprise.
Twitter is going nuts.
They are just firing up a storm because guess what? That opens a trade for Seattle. Not that it'll happen, but that'd be sweet, wouldn't it? 24, Dallas. Dallas is shook. They don't know what happened. Jerry Jones over there, he's like, oh my God, I'm going to have to fork out more money after, that woman said I was the father, Sorry, off topic. Anyway, he is going with offensive line help to try to give Dak one more chance. And he's going to take Kenyon Green. And that brings up Buffalo. And I've said this before with the Kansas City against Buffalo game. I think that's different if you have a team that's going to stop them on defense. So they are going in that route. They're going to put them right in the middle of the line. Jordan Davis fulfilling that middle of the line, eating those blockers, stopping that run, getting that pass rush open.
You said screw my bold prediction.
That's right. Tennessee on the clock. They're looking at a couple of different places. But
do they go with the surprise?
That offense was big. Even with Derrick Henry out. Derrick Henry was out, and they weren't as good, but they were still good. But do they go in a route to help Ryan Tannehill take a little pressure off of him? I don't know. I think they give him another weapon and let Drake London come and play alongside A.J. Brown. 27, Tampa Bay on the clock. I know Goatee knows where I'm going with this one, but if you've listened, you heard before, we still don't know what's going on with Rob Gronkowski. O.J. Howard's no longer in Tampa. What's going on with that tight end position? Do they wait to get to the second round? I don't think he's there at their pick. So they pull a reach. Trey McBride heading to Tampa Bay.
You've been consistent with that one.
At 28, Green Bay back on the clock. Aaron Rodgers, pretty happy with the last one. I think he's going to be happy again because now they're going to address maybe Bakhtiari not being there for very long. And they're going to take offensive tackle Bernard Raymond.
I actually just learned that his name is actually pronounced Hyman.
Yeah, it's spelled with an R, so it's Raymond.
It is, but he is Austrian. I did not know that it was pronounced Hyman either. I always said Raymond.
Interesting. Good to know. Brings Kansas City up on the clock with back-to-back picks, so I'm just going to rattle both of them off here for you. At this, I guess you could go whichever way you want if you want to try to get better, position out of them, I guess. First one, they're going to get that elite shifty boy that I talked about earlier. They need somebody to replace Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's going to replace him by himself, but he's going to definitely help. They're going to get that guy to get off the line. Sky Moore heading to Kansas City. Back on the clock. Again, going the same way that Buffalo did. They're going to meet up. So instead of having that shootout, maybe get some stops. They're filling that middle of the line as well. Travis Jones, Kansas City.
Putting a lot of Jones on the line.
Chris and Travis, I see what you did there. At 31, the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. They can go a couple of different ways, but they brought in a lot of offensive linemen, and not just like depth. They brought in guys that are there to start. So I don't think they're going offensive line in the draft. If they do, great. Joe Burrow's probably thrilled. But I don't think they do. I think they go in their secondary. They draft the Florida boy, Kaiir Elam. And Detroit on the board. I'm sorry, on the clock, I mean. But this man was at the top of their board for offense. Jared Goff, their guy? I don't think so. Not long term. I think they take their chance here, and they go after quarterback Matt Corral.
Well, that was a very surprising, I think, mock, but I definitely could see a lot of that happening for sure. a lot of unknowns in this draft this year, which is going to make it more exciting to watch because, a lot of times we have a pretty good feel of how these things are going to play out. You're getting ranges on these guys, predictions where they're going to fall anywhere from 3 to 33 for some of these guys. It's wild. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And Brandon Lee, well done.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to see how it plays out for you tomorrow. We do have a little competition going where we're going to score our mock drafts, and that is why we didn't allow for trades to keep it baselined for scoring. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get to my mock draft and see what I got going on. See if we got some differences between me and Brandon Lee. You ready for that, Brandon? Are you ready to see? Are you ready to hear the real winning mock draft? Are you ready?
I mean, I'm ready to hear how wrong your picks are going to be. Yeah.
Right after this.
Let me get the last word.
I did.
What a guy. All right, let me go refill my water real quick.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Well, when I pull out the space heater, or the other heater, or the cooler fan, just sitting there, unless we cover it. Guess we could try to cover it.
Is the cover up there in the closet?
I don't know where the cover is.
Because I thought we threw it away because it got disgusting.
No, we didn't throw it away. It's like somewhere. Or if you just turn back on the heat by literally just flooding it, like.
No, that's probably it'd probably just be easier though. It'd probably just be
Well, it's
easier.
only supposed to be bad for 2 days.
Okay.
So, honestly, if I put the heater. It's just letting in everything.
Yeah.
YouTube getting the full sneak peek behind the scenes of all of it. You're welcome, YouTube.
Oh, did you
You're welcome, Party Pete.
did you guys hear all that conversation too?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I probably should have muted.
Hey, you're good.
Well, there you have it, guys.
All right.
It's a little bit chilly here. We had to cover the fan and put the space heater in. Okay.
All right, ready to do this?
Are you ready? That's the question.
I'm gonna have you intro me.
All right.
I'll give you a countdown. Ready? In 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Now, you just heard the best mock draft, probably the most correct and the most accurate, but we'll give Goatee his chance. So, Goatee, let's hear what you got. Let's see how you're going to compete.
I like your optimism in your mock draft. I like the confidence you have in it, but you're wrong. You're wrong. As usual, you're wrong. It's not going to be the correct mock draft because you're about to hear the spot on 100%. 100. Okay. It's going to be perfect. And we start at the top with the first pick belonging to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brandon Lee said, a lot of smoke screens going on, and ultimately he thinks Jacksonville takes the guy that they have liked all along. But he's wrong. He is wrong. They do take the guy that they've liked all along, but not the guy that the media is hyped as the guy they liked all along. Trent Baalke is general manager. He goes against the grain. It's not his way to just pick the guy that everybody says is the number one player, right? It's just not him. He likes lengthy arms, always has, and he likes athletes, but he likes leadership in the locker room. He wants to change the culture in Jacksonville to be a winning culture, which means he's going to take Trayvon Walker, the defensive lineman from Georgia. He's coming in, high character player, high upside, and he's going to play along that line with Josh Allen, and they are going to wreak havoc and Duval. So that takes us to the number 2 pick. The Detroit Lions are rioting in the streets because they're just so happy that they're about to get their guy, keep him in the state of Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson, the edge rusher from Michigan. Probably the best player to start coming out, maybe. Well, maybe. But the Jaguars went with the higher upside in Walker. The Houston Texans are on the clock, and they're looking at it. Okay, well, we got some options. A lot of options, actually, because our roster is basically a high school football team. So we look across this roster, and we say, Houston seems they're saying all the right things, at least, to say that Davis Mills, he deserves a chance to be the guy. He played well last year. He just had nothing around him. So they're gonna see, okay, we're gonna give this kid a chance. Well, we got to protect him. We got Laramie Tunsil, but Tunsil might be gone next year. We got a guy that can slide in right now. He can play tackle, he can play guard, and if we do lose Tunsil, he can easily slot in at left tackle. We're taking the monstrosity out of NC State, offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu.
Yep, big boy.
Moving on to the 4th pick, the New York Jets say, wow, okay, well, we got some options here. But like Brandon said, I'm not gonna make this last any longer than it needs to. Like Brandon said, it's the perfect fit for these guys at number 4. Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. They need some help in that defensive backfield. Robert Saleh's defense gets a major force on the outside.
It's good to see you 50% through 4.
Yeah. We were 0% through 2. So on to number 5, the New York Giants with their first pick. This is where I think the first possible trade could go down. I don't think that the Giants will move out of this unless they get a total haul. But if they stay put, they're looking at the board and they're like, well, we're not sure what Carolina's going to do. So we know that they could look at an offensive tackle. That is a possibility for them. And the New York Giants are looking at this and they're saying, if we want to get the guy that we want, we need to make sure of it right now. So they go with an offensive tackle. They do. And they grab not somebody you were expecting, I'm guessing. They grab Charles Cross, the offensive tackle from Mississippi State, at number 5. There's a lot of talk that they really like Charles Cross. He's probably the most polished left tackle coming out. And if they feel more confident with Andrew Thomas playing on the right side, they can make 2 positions better by taking this one player.
That's a good thought. That's a good way to look at it.
So Charles Cross, maybe a little bit early compared to what most media outlets would say, but I'm taking him at 5, and I'm shoring up both sides of the line. We're protecting Daniel Jones, and we're going to get Barkley rolling again. Number 6, Carolina on the clock. Well, we know that they've been very transparent about wanting to bring in competition, at least for Sam Darnold. Quarterbacks are all available, every one of them. Carolina doesn't have another pick until the 4th round. So if you're taking your quarterback, you're taking him here. Except I'm the GM for the Carolina Panthers, and I say screw the quarterback position, okay? So the Carolina Panthers say, even if we draft a quarterback, we're not going to be a competitive team next year. We have a good defense, but we're playing in a division that still has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. So Carolina says, let's build that offensive line. Let's protect the guy that's going to be our future quarterback when we get him. And they take Evan Neal, the offensive tackle from Alabama.
That's an interesting pick, and you know, I didn't do enough diving down into that to actually understand that. But if Carolina does not have a pick after the 6th pick overall until the 4th round, maybe that's a potential trade placement too.
Absolutely is. I think if they don't go with a quarterback, that is definitely a spot where they could trade down. They need to. They have enough holes to where they need to acquire some more draft capital, in my opinion, and they could probably find a team that would want to move up, and they could probably stay in the top 10 if they move back.
I mean, in all honesty, the way that your board has fallen so far, I would not be surprised. Now, it's not normal for them to do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the Seahawks move up for Thibodeau.
It's possible. Which brings us to the 7th pick, New York Giants' 2nd pick. And this is where I do think the Giants look to move down. There's been a lot of talks that the Giants have at least 8 players that they really like, and they have a handful more that they'd be comfortable taking in the early 1st round. So if they move down, I don't think they move too far. I don't think they'd be willing to go past probably 13 at the most. Okay, so, but we're not moving down. We're staying there. And the New York Giants say, we got our offensive tackle. We solidified the line. We got to get after the passer, and we're taking Kayvon Thibodeau.
Well, you got another one correct.
So it brings Atlanta on the clock. Another team that could very well be looking at a quarterback. They could be looking at a few different positions. But if you remember what I said in my bold prediction, no quarterbacks go in the top 10. That's my bold prediction. So you know I'm not going quarterback here. At number 8, the Atlanta Falcons select Drake London, the wide receiver from USC.
Ooh. Not where I thought you'd go, but you know what? When you think about it, though, Atlanta, I mean, off the top of my head, honestly, I can't even think of a wide receiver. I mean,
they got Zacchaeus, and Cordero Patterson, if you count him as that.
Yeah.
So that's about it. Yeah. So and Zacchaeus is like 5'7". So yeah, we'll see. But no, Drake London, big-bodied receiver.
Makes a lot of
You know,
sense.
he's a stud, and if that ankle's fully healthy, you know, Mariota's going to love him, and whoever ends up being the long-term quarterback there is going to have plenty of pass catchers with just London, Pitts, and Patterson. They still need to add some more talent to the receiver position, but they'll have weapons. Brings up. Well, let's just skip pick 9, right? No, we don't.
No.
All right.
No.
Brings up pick 9, which used to belong to the Denver Broncos. So
All right.
with the team that took over that spot, the Seattle Seahawks, they're looking at this and they're saying, okay, well, there's a couple things, you know, part of us wanted, you know, maybe Thibodeau to fall down a little bit further, maybe one of those offensive tackles to slide to us, but that didn't happen. It's a lot of buzz going on with the Seahawks and a certain defensive tackle. Okay, a lot of buzz going on there. There's a lot of love for this guy who's been creeping up the board, and very, very easily could be the pick here, but he's not. He's not. We're gonna go on the defensive side of the ball though, and they're gonna take cornerback Derek Stingley from LSU.
Whew, I'd be okay with that. Here's my thing though with Stingley and why I don't see that happening with Seattle. What if he makes it there? I would absolutely be thrilled if they took him. But I mean, they brought in Artie Burns. They brought in Justin Coleman again. They still have Sidney Jones. You know, I mean, they made some moves, and outside of the number one corner, they just kind of throw anybody in there. So don't get me wrong, though. I'd be thrilled with Stingley coming in.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, it comes down to this pick being that Stingley is a potential can't-miss prospect. He's a potential all-pro. So I think when you compare the two guys that they're rumored to like that are available at that spot, I think that guy has the chance to be – I think Stingley has the chance to be more productive for the organization.
I can agree.
At a position that gets paid more, too, so you're getting them on the cheap.
That's true. It's very true.
At number 10, the New York Jets are on the clock again, and I could see them moving this pick. A team that I could see possibly coming up here would be the New Orleans Saints, and another one that I could possibly see moving up to get in front of Washington would be Houston. But no trades. New York Jets stay still. They took Sauce Gardner earlier. They're going to try to help their young quarterback, second year, Zach Wilson. They're going to try to protect. No, they're not. They're not trying to protect him. Who am I kidding? They're trying to give him another weapon on the outside. They go with Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State.
You got another one correct.
At pick 11, I know I don't have this one correct. The Washington Commanders are on the clock, and they need some help in some positions. Okay, the defense could use some pieces. They lost Landon Collins, so there's a guy that could fill that role. They could use another corner. They could use a linebacker. But what else do they need? They have Terry McLaurin, and they don't really have much else. And Terry McLaurin has a chance to potentially sit out. He says he's not going to, but if things go south in their contract negotiations, there's a potential that McLaurin maybe decides to change his mind. And if that's the case, they're in trouble. They don't have a lot more outside of him in the passing game. Carson Wentz comes in. He needs another weapon. Well, let's pair Ohio State receivers together. Terry McLaurin, meet Chris Olave.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Not what I would have thought, position wise, but I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. I think you're wrong.
Number 12, Minnesota Vikings. Now the Vikings, same thing. They probably were hoping that one of those corners would slide. They probably figured that Gardner would be off the board, but they were kind of hoping that Stingley would slide down to him. Doesn't happen. Don't really see a corner that fits the Vikings scheme here. I do understand you said Trent McDuffie, and that's very possible. Just the way I view the scheme, I don't know if he fits it because it's not Zimmer's scheme anymore. We got to remember. So when I look at it, I say no. There's no corner that we want to take here. There's a couple positions that we could help the line, the defensive line. We could help the offensive line if we wanted to. It might be a little early. But you know what? They say we're kind of in a position we don't really know which way to go. So let's just take the best player on the board. Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame. It allows Harrison Smith, another Notre Dame safety, to be a little bit more rangy, play out in center field a little bit more, maybe not have to come down to the box. You let Kyle Hamilton handle that. He's younger. He can take the beating. You let Harrison Smith do what he does really well in ball hawk.
definitely makes sense. Like, I'm not against that. You're wrong, but I'm not against it.
I was waiting for it. So, pick 13 on the clock, the Houston Texans, second pick in the first round. This is another one where I think that possibility to move, especially if a quarterback is not gone by this point, definitely could see a team coming up and trying to get ahead of Philly, the Saints, Pittsburgh, those guys. Definitely see this being a hot spot for a quarterback. But no trades. So, the Houston Texans, they already got their big offensive tackle from NC State. Now they're gonna get after the quarterback a little bit here. They're gonna go with the uber athletic Jermaine Johnson from Florida State.
Yeah, I think they'd be pretty happy with that.
I would say so. I think they would be doing cartwheels in the war room. So number 14 comes on the clock, and does anybody remember what my lock was? Anybody remember that?
I do. You're wrong, but I do.
So one of my locks was a certain person would not fall past pick 14. And I stand by this. This is, I feel very, very good about this, that he will not fall any further than here. Baltimore Ravens at 14 take the monster Georgia defensive lineman, not the one that Brandon took, Devontae Wyatt, but they take Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle from Georgia.
I know you said that that's a lock, but did you forget that I'm carrying bolt cutters?
Fair enough. So pick 15 on the clock here. And the Philadelphia Eagles, with the first of two picks in the first round, they look at this and they say, you know what? Seeing a lot of receivers go off the board here. We might want to take one here, or we might miss out. But if we take this one that we really, really like, he might not contribute much this year. We might have to start him on the pup, but God, is he going to be good once we do get him on the field. The Philadelphia Eagles select Jamison Williams, wide receiver from Alabama.
Not a bad pick. A little bit earlier than what he's actually going to be, but not a bad pick.
Another one of my bold predictions was him going in the top 15. New Orleans Saints on the clock at 16. They have two picks as well in the first round. And they say, well, we have our pick of the quarterbacks, don't we? We got all of them still available. What do we want to do? Well, what we want to do is we look at our teams behind us and we say, well, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of any of them taking it. So guess what? At number 16, offensive tackle Trevor Penning, Northern Iowa, to the New Orleans Saints. Got to fill that spot that Teron Armstead left. And I think Penning can slide right in and do a good job for them. Number 17, Los Angeles Chargers on the board. And they're looking around. They're saying, okay, well, we got linebackers that we could use. We got some corners we could use. There's a lot of stuff out there that we could do. But you know what? Let's look in the mirror. Let's look at ourselves from last year. What was wrong with us last year? We couldn't stop the damn run to save our lives. Well, we're going to change that. And we're going to bring in the other monster defensive lineman from Georgia, Devontae Wyatt.
Ooh, pair him with Bosa and old Lee Crap.
Khalil Mack.
And Khalil Mack, that's right.
Yep. So that brings us to number 18, the Philadelphia Eagles' second pick. And they say, okay, we got our receiver. But you know what? We play in a division that now has Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave on one team. It's got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup on another. And, maybe the Giants add some weapons here. And so we're gonna try to slow them down. We have Darius Slay. We don't have anybody opposite him. Well, guess what? We do now with one Trent McDuffie from Washington.
Wow. I like how you go, oh, well, we're in a division with, Olave and Terry McLaurin and CD Lamb and Gallup will end the Giants.
Yeah, right.
At
Well, that's
least we
good.
get one extra bye week.
Right. So we're gonna go on to the 19th pick here. New Orleans Saints are on the clock. The Saints, they say, well, guess what? We still got our pick of the quarterbacks. We still got all of them on there. Who do we love? Who do we love? We don't love any of them. We don't love any of them. We're not taking a quarterback. We're going and we're going to try to pair Michael Thomas with somebody else to give our current quarterbacks some more weapons because Alvin Kamara, who knows what's going on with him. We're going to bring in Treylon Burks, the multi-purpose threat, and we're going to use him in all sorts of different ways. We watched what the Niners did with Deebo Samuel, and we're about to do the same thing.
I mean, they got creative with Taysom Hill, so I
Exactly.
did see that they're going to play Taysom Hill as a tight end this year.
Yep.
So
he's a high-paid tight end. But anyway,
that's for sure.
next up, number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock. Pittsburgh Steelers looking at it and saying, well, hell, we were looking at possibilities of not getting a quarterback to make it to us. We were looking at other positions, but we have all the quarterbacks on the board. Not a single one's been taken. We went out to dinner with this guy's whole family. Like, we know this kid inside and out. Nope, not the one you're thinking, but he did go out to dinner. They do know him inside and out, but it's not the one that plays in their stadium. Malik Willis, the quarterback from Liberty, to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Now, I love that pick. Like I said, I don't actually think he goes there. Obviously, I have him in the top 6. But I think that is probably the best place for Malik Willis to be.
Yep. I would agree. Pick 21 on the clock, New England Patriots. And I've been pretty consistent with this pick throughout. I think it's just a perfect fit. He reminds me a lot of like a Gerard Mayo, Dante Hightower, Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. Chalk it up. Makes too much sense. If they don't go offensive line, this is where they're going, I think.
I mean, if Devin Lloyd gets by Washington and gets by Philly, yeah. But I don't know. I think he gets taken earlier on.
Fair enough.
I definitely could see Philly going that route. I don't see. I don't know. I could see Washington doing it. I don't think they will, but man, it's just up in the air, isn't it?
So pick 22 on the clock, the first one by the Packers. Packers, like you talked about, got to keep Rodgers happy. You got to refill that receiver room. Brought in Sammy Watkins, but that's not enough. They brought in Sammy Watkins. Well, they must like that name, huh? Because now they're going to bring in Christian Watkins, wide receiver from North Dakota State. They like they're a team that has a certain idea of what they like with their receivers. They like big-bodied guys. Watkins is a big physical receiver. Throw him out there. Let Aaron Rodgers do his thing.
But what you didn't realize is he's going to fall into the second round and Seattle's going to take him. So
fair enough. Not fair. Arizona on the clock at 23. Arizona looks at it and says, we do have a quarterback that who knows what's going to happen. We do need a receiver. We lost Christian Kirk. But we lost a guy that's a lot more valuable to our team, in my opinion. It basically makes the team go on one side of the ball. And he went up to Las Vegas. He's here. He's here at the draft. He's down the road. Okay? And they say, well, we got to get some pressure off the edge. We got to get some pressure off the edge. And we see a guy that, maybe doesn't have excellent athleticism, but this kid goes and he gets after the quarterback. We're taking George Karlaftis from Purdue.
Well, crap.
All right, I'm gonna make one more pick, and we're gonna have to take a quick break, but we'll be back and we'll wrap this thing up. 24, Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. Dallas Cowboys. It's no question that they lost Randy Gregory. They really wanted to keep him. They lost him, so they really need another edge presence. And I don't think they want to play Micah Parsons as a defensive end full time. I think they want to keep him at linebacker. So I flipped on that a few times, but I think ultimately that's where they want to stay. And you know what? They said we had some good luck with Penn State and Micah Parsons. We did. We had some good luck. So we're going to go back there. We're going to go back to the Big Ten. We're going to go back to Happy Valley, and we're going to take a super, super good player, super solid off the edge, twitchy, quick, high motor, Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State.
Ooh. Wow. Okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I mean,
You better
it's wrong.
not.
It's
You better
wrong. I don't hate it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, wrap up the last picks starting at 25 with the Buffalo Bills. I was getting close to the time limit. That's why.
Yeah. We gotta be long on this one.
We kind of knew that was going to be the case, though.
Yeah. Because that's 4 breaks now. That's funny.
We're actually only at an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
Nope. All right.
You want me to intro or?
No, I'll just pick it right back up.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, we're back. And we left off with pick 25 in the mock draft here with the Buffalo Bills on the clock. The Bills are they're a tough team to predict. Tough team to predict what they're going to do. They don't have a lot of holes. But one thing that stood out, and it was pretty glaring during the playoffs, is after they lost Tre'Davious White, they had trouble stopping teams on the outside. They need some more corner depth, in my opinion. So, the Buffalo Bills go out there and they say, well, we want to find a guy that's kind of physical, can play in a pinch, we don't want to play in a pinch. We want him to play on the outside, be productive. We just want some physicality. We want a guy that, can just cover a receiver, keep him in front, and let our safeties, because we have very talented safeties, do what they do over the top. And in a short area, I think this guy can do it. I know I talked about him earlier not being high on my list, but Kaiir Elam from Florida to the Buffalo Bills.
I think that is the greatest cornerback in this draft, specifically because he came out of Florida. But
So, next up is the Tennessee Titans at pick 26. And what are the Titans going to do? So, if you've been following the podcast and our draft specials, I've been throwing a little bit of a curveball at this pick. Okay? And I still think that could very well happen. I do. I think it can happen. I think it would be a smart pick by the Titans. Not this time. Not this time. Nope. This time, I'm throwing you a different curveball. Okay? What are the Titans like? They like to smash on the ground. They like to run. Derrick Henry, like to pound the ball. And that's why in the past I've mentioned that I think bringing in a second horse in Breece Hall would be really, really helpful. But you can build on the offensive line too, right? You can build an offensive line and really just smash it down their throat. But you don't do that either. So you got a pretty strong front seven, and you could go in the defensive backfield. You're not doing that either. Man. Oh, but wait a minute. We brought in Julio Jones, and he kind of sucked. We could add a weapon with A.J. Brown. But we're not going to do that either. What are we doing at pick 26, guys? What is going on? Listen. The Titans have a very simple philosophy on offense. We run the ball, we play smart, we don't turn the ball over, and we let our defense keep us in the game.
But you don't do that either.
Ryan Tannehill is probably gone after this year because his tag number would be ridiculous if you were to keep him. And I don't see them signing him to a long-term deal. And there's a guy who is pro-ready right now to step in next year, still on the board, Kenny Pickett to the Tennessee Titans. I see your face.
I was just going to say, too bad they didn't fill out the card. So they fill out the card.
Oh, you were waiting. But they didn't get it in time, and they got skipped in Tampa Bay. No, Kenny Pickett to the Tennessee Titans. You know, he can play right away. So if something happened to Tannehill, you could slot him right in. But he's ready to go, surefire, ready to go next year. And you know, I don't think that team really loses much from having Pickett versus Tannehill. So.
No, I don't think it's a bad pick if he falls to them at that point. I think that's actually smart. Tannehill goes away, he slides right in. There's not a lot of change in that offense, and I don't think it's anything that's difficult for him to handle.
That's right.
I think that's a really good place for him if he gets there.
I know. That's why I put him there.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's wrong.
All right, so. Little curveball there, right? Little curveball. Pick 27 is on the clock. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, this team, pretty strong team, has a couple of spots where they could build up a little bit. They brought their quarterback back, which is the biggest part, right? Like you mentioned, you know, tight end could be in play. Could be in play. I don't think it is here, but it could be in play. I respect the fact that you stayed with it the whole time. That's very, very respected by me, I should say. And we'll see if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think it's going to. Defensive side of the ball, they could use another corner. They were a little weak after getting all banged up there. They could also use somebody along the defensive line after it looks like they're not going to bring back Sue. So. But they don't. They don't. Okay.
Here we go.
Because, and you've heard me mention this off of air before, but they have a really good linebacker core, really good duo. But Levante David is a free agent after this year, and he's about to be 34 years old going into next season or into the following season. They have Devin White, who will be entering his 5th-year option. They're going to have to pay him. So they're going to want somebody cheap beside him. And this guy could slot right in and fly all over the field and make tackles. Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Georgia, to Tampa Bay.
I actually really like that. It's not going to happen. He's not going to go there.
I would hate it too, but yes. So pick 28's up on the clock. Green Bay Packers, second pick. They already took Christian Watkins, you know, sticking with the Watkins wide receiver room. And at 28, they very well could go receiver again. Very well could. They could go offensive line, like you suggested earlier. You know, there's a few different spots that they could go. If they're not committed to Jordan Love, quarterback could be in play here. But they're not.
I'm catching a pattern here.
They are going to go to the other side of the football on defense, right? And they lost Zadarius Smith in free agency, right? They have Rashawn Gary. They have Preston Smith, but they need a little bit more something in the rotation. You know, you want to have more than just a couple of pass rushers in case you come across some injuries. I talked about this guy earlier. I really like him. Quay Walker, linebacker from Georgia. I think in the 3-4 defense that they play, I think coming off the edge, like I said, the guy's got no quit. He's got a high motor. He just goes. And I think if you coach him up a little bit, could be a stud. I mean, Rashawn Gary kind of reminded me of the same kind of thing coming out. Not quite the high motor that Quay Walker has, but I think Walker could be a really, really good player in that defense.
Yeah, no, I like where you went with that. And mentioning Rashawn Gary, too, there was a different player that I had in mind that I thought you were going to go and put him in there, too. And that was originally what I was going to do with Green Bay. But, I mean, I don't know, the way I had my board fall, I kind of had to go elsewhere. But
and I've heard some rumblings that Quay Walker is being, talked about as possibly a first round pick, and I like him, so that's why I put him in mine.
Yeah, so the guy I was thinking at Green Bay's second pick there, maybe Ojabo.
Yeah,
another.
The only reason I didn't take Ojabo, and he very well could still go in the first round, Achilles injuries scare me, and he just tore his Achilles in, was it March, I think. So that scares me a little bit. And
that's, he's a bit of a project too. So
yeah. So no, but he's absolutely a very talented player. If healthy, he's probably gone before this pick on the board. So
yeah, absolutely.
So now we're to the Kansas City back-to-back picks, 29 and 30. I've been consistent in this pick all along as well. He's Tyrann Mathieu Jr., Dax Hill, Michigan. Guy can play friggin' everywhere on defense. And he would be a stud special teamer for you if for some reason he didn't work out on your defense as a starter. But this kid, play him anywhere, he's going to make your team better. And I think it's a seamless transition from him, or from Matthew to him. Little drop off as far as experience, but similar player. And then pick 30, like you said, they gotta find a replacement for the receiver they lost, right? They brought in Juju. Oh well. I don't think that does a ton for them. They need a guy that is sure-handed. They need a guy with some quickness. They have a tendency to like the smaller receivers. And I know you talked about Sky Moore, but I think they go with a guy that's just a little bit more polished, a little bbit more pro-ready, in my opinion. And they go with my guy from Penn State, Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, I wanted to put Dotson in there too, but I'm holding out hope that he falls to Seattle.
No, last time a Penn State receiver fell to you, it didn't work out so well. For those that don't, that's Deion Butler. But anyway. Oh yeah, nothing now. Pick 31, Cincinnati Bengals, on the clock. Like you mentioned, they spent a lot in free agency. They brought in 3 starting caliber players and will be starters, with Lael Collins, Ted Karras, and Alex Kappa from Tampa. So they've definitely improved the line. Still could improve the line more if they wanted to. I don't think that they do. I don't think they're going to invest a 4th offensive lineman this high in the draft. I do expect them to draft an offensive lineman early, just not here. Because you look at the other side of the ball, and one of their weaknesses is, Eli Apple was like their top corner. That's terrifying. He played good football, but that's terrifying. Eli Apple's he's not that good. Okay, so you got to find some more help on the outside. And there's a guy I really like. He's been climbing up my board for a long time. Probably heard me mention him a little bit in the past. But it's the other Husky from Washington, not Trent McDuffie. It's Kyler Gordon. I like that kid, and I think he would be a good fit with Cincy.
Wow, he's not one that I thought would slide in the first round, but I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I've liked him throughout the process, and if you've followed my mock drafts prior to us doing these specials, I actually had him in the first round almost pretty consistently. So I moved him back up, and I think he's a good fit with Cincinnati. And then finally, wrapping it up, pick 32. Definitely think this is a trade out spot. I think a team will try to come up, maybe even in front, maybe to like one of Kansas City's picks, to try to get ahead of Detroit, maybe. But I think a team comes up to get a quarterback here, and if they don't, and Detroit stays at 32, if they're going to take their quarterback, that's where they got to do it. You get your fifth-year option with that pick. So I've battled back and forth on who the Lions would take at this. I want to put the other guy on there, but I can't convince myself. It's Matt Corral to the Detroit Lions at 32. I really, really wanted to put Desmond Ridder there, but I think the fact that Corral is just better at progressing through reads, doesn't play in a pro-style offense, so that might take some time. But they have Jared Goff. They don't have to rush him. They can coach him up. And as much as I like Desmond Ridder, he's got a little bit more wearing on the tires. You know what I mean? Corral has gotten beat up a little bit because he's a smaller framed quarterback, but Ridder has played. He's a 4-year starter, and the man's, he's got a little bit more wear and tear on the tires. So I go Matt Corral, and that wraps up my first round.
Not bad.
So
most are wrong, but it's not bad.
So now that you've heard the perfect mock draft, you guys don't even have to watch the draft tomorrow. You know exactly what's going to happen. No.
I appreciate you, letting everybody know that after, going through my mock draft.
Yeah, okay. We'll see who wins tomorrow, huh? We'll see when we grade these things. But guys, it's been fun. We hope you enjoyed the draft special. We're looking forward to tomorrow night. Ready? I probably won't sleep very well tonight because I'm going to be excited for it. Hope you guys have fun. Hope you guys got some information out of this you find helpful. And we'll catch you guys next week. Adios.
Peace.